Okay, let's talk about a world of endless parties, flowing champagne, and a mysterious millionaire who seems to have everything you could ever want. But what if all that glitter is hiding something tragic underneath? Today, we're diving deep into F. Scott Fitzgerald's masterpiece, The Great Gatsby, to really get at the heart of a dream that burned, well, just a little too brightly.
So picture this. The year is 1922. The Great War is finally over, and America is just roaring with this new money and a kind of reckless spirit. This is the Jazz Age, an explosion of wealth, rebellion, and this restless, almost desperate energy that you can just feel in every single character we're about to meet.
And this is the big question everyone's asking on Long Island. Who is this guy? You know, the whispers and rumors are flying around at his incredible parties, but the man himself, he's a total enigma. And it's this mystery that really pulls our narrator, and all of us, right, into his glittering and pretty dangerous world.
All right, so let's really unpack the mystery of Jay Gatsby. Our guide through all of this is a guy named Nick Carraway. He's an outsider from the Midwest, and he learns really fast that on Long Island, your address says everything about you. Because this world, it's totally, starkly divided by money.
And here's where the real tension of the story comes in. On one side, you have West Egg. This is the flashy, kind of gaudy new money. Think lottery winners or today's tech billionaires. This is where Gatsby lives. And then, right across the bay, you've got East Egg. This is old, established, aristocratic wealth. They didn't earn their money, they were born into it. This isn't just about geography, it's a full-on cultural war, and our characters are right on the front lines.
Right in the middle of all this West Egg chaos is Jay Gatsby himself. I mean, he's the ultimate host. His mansion is basically a public playground every single weekend. But here's the weird part. While all his guests are lost in the chaos, Gatsby, he seems completely detached from it all. He just stands apart from the crowd, watching and waiting for something or someone.
And this is what he's waiting for. Night after night, Nick sees him staring across the water at this single, tiny green light. And this reveals a huge secret. The parties, the mansion, all the incredible wealth, it is not random. It is all part of a very, very specific plan. And it's all aimed directly at that distant light.
So, what's this dream of Daisy all about? Now we get to the why. That green light isn't just a light, it's a beacon. And it shows us that Gatsby's entire world, everything he's built, has been for one single person.
You gotta rewind about 5 years to get the full story. Gatsby, who was a penniless army officer back then, fell head over heels for Daisy, a beautiful, wealthy socialite. But the war and frankly social class ripped them apart. While Gatsby was away, Daisy married the brutishly rich Tom Buchanan. So for 5 solid years, Gatsby has been meticulously building a fortune, all for one reason: to win her back. And when Nick finally sets up their reunion, that spark is instantly rekindled, and their dangerous affair begins.
And this, right here, this is the heart of Gatsby's magnificent and, let's be honest, tragic delusion. He really believes that money isn't just for buying things, it's for buying time. He's absolutely convinced he can use his fortune to literally rewind the clock, erase Daisy's marriage, and restart their life together right where they left off.
Yeah, but reality, it's never that simple, is it? As their affair heats up, Gatsby's perfectly constructed dream starts to collide head-on with the messy, brutal truth of the present.
And it all comes to a head on this one, just suffocatingly hot afternoon in a New York City hotel room. The oppressive heat is the perfect metaphor for the simmering tensions between Gatsby, Daisy, and Tom, which are, you guessed it, about to boil over.
And in just a few short moments, Gatsby's entire world just unravels. First, his respectable image is totally destroyed when Tom exposes him as a criminal bootlegger. Then, his perfect dream shatters when Daisy admits she can't just erase her past with Tom. And finally, it all ends in a horrific, fatal accident.
In one last, desperate act of devotion, Gatsby chooses to protect Daisy. He takes the fall for the accident, truly believing that this one noble sacrifice can still save his dream. What he doesn't realize is that this act of love is the very thing that's going to lead to his death.
And after that night, well, the fallout is just swift and brutal. It reveals the true, careless nature of the world Gatsby wanted so badly to join. The party is officially and tragically over. Tom Buchanan, in this final, just cruel act of self-preservation, points the victim's grieving husband right toward Gatsby's house. And there, floating in his pool, still waiting for a call from Daisy that'll never get, Gatsby is murdered. His grand dream ends not with a bang, but with the quiet tragedy of mistaken revenge.
And what about Daisy, the whole object of this grand obsession? She and Tom, the old money elite, they just retreat. They disappear back into their vast wealth, leaving all the chaos, the bodies, and the tragedy behind without a second thought. They are completely insulated from the consequences of anything they do.
This slide, this shows you the ultimate brutal irony of it all. Hundreds, literally hundreds of people flocked to Gatsby's parties. But how many people showed up for his funeral? 3. Just 3. All those so-called friends, all the connections, they were just an illusion, and they vanished the second the party stopped. So in the end, it's just Nick, left to make sense of this whole tragedy. He's completely disgusted by the moral rot of the wealthy elite, but he's also left with this kind of grudging admiration for Gatsby. Not for his money, but for his incredible, unwavering capacity for hope. A hope that was always focused on that one single point across the water.
And that green light, it becomes a symbol for the elusive American dream itself. You know, it's that promise of a golden future, the belief that if we just work a little harder, run a little faster, we can get whatever we want. For Gatsby, that dream was Daisy, but like the dream for so many of us, it was always just out of reach, a future he was forever chasing but could never quite get his hands on.
The story closes with one of the most famous lines in all of literature, and it just perfectly captures the book's central tragedy. We're all a bit like Gatsby, right? We're these boats against the current. We fight so hard to move forward, toward our own green lights, toward our dreams, but we are constantly being pulled back by the powerful currents of our own past.
And ultimately, that's the big, tragic question at the heart of The Great Gatsby. I mean, Gatsby's dream was impossible. Sure, it was built on a complete fantasy. But his unwavering commitment to it was, in its own way, magnificent. And that paradox, that's why we're still talking about this story 100 years later.